The Lord be with you. Scott Hippler writes, I can remember one late winter's day when I was about 7. My grandmother had taken a cousin and me to the grocery store. When the shopping was done and the brown paper sacks were in the car, we headed home. On the way, Grandma had to stop off at another store for a few minutes. So my cousin and I stayed in the car. Well, Grandma took more time than she thought, so what was about to happen was all her fault. Back then, they put prizes in laundry detergent boxes as an incentive for people to buy. Well, we had 2 giant boxes of soap because Grandma bought everything in bulk. I had discovered that you could pop the ashtrays out of the doors in the back seat, and when you looked down into them, you could see a big black hole. So we popped out both ashtrays, opened both boxes of soap, and began to pour the soap into the holes. Before we knew it, the boxes were empty and we had our prizes. A nice little coffee cup and a nice little salad dish. It was then that we realized what we had done. Trust me on this. There is no way to make a soap box look and feel like it's never been opened once you've poured all the soap down an ashtray hole in a car. It was all Grandma's fault anyway. You can get into a whole lot of trouble while you wait, especially if there is no purpose in your waiting. Advent is the season of waiting for Christ to be born, waiting for Christ to return to take us to heavenly glory, waiting for the day when our world and everything in it shall be under the Lord's dominion and reconciled to God. So tell me this, how good are you at waiting? In a long line at the grocery store that's been made even longer because of the requirement to stand 6 feet or more away from the person in line ahead of you? Are you good at waiting then? Have you ever been driving late at night, the only person on the road, even the birds are sleeping, and you come up on a traffic light in the middle of nowhere that turns red as you are approaching? You are sitting there for nothing, just wanting to get home. Are you good at waiting then? Most of us are not good at waiting. We live in a world of immediate gratification. Most of us would love microwave ovens if they only weren't so darn slow. I once made a congregation wait for an entire minute before standing to preach. When the hymn before the sermon ended and silence filled the sanctuary, I remained seated, with my eyes closed and my head down. I heard people getting restless. Papers were being shuffled around. But for a full minute, I refused to move. Then I stood and said, "Welcome to Advent, the season of waiting." People later told me they thought I had had a heart attack or had fallen asleep. They weren't sure what they should do. But isn't that the point? We aren't comfortable with silence, with waiting. Even so, doesn't the Bible encourage us to be still and know that the Lord is God? That sounds like waiting to me. So how can we spend these Advent days waiting with a purpose, and not just any purpose, but waiting with a holy purpose? Search your hearts. When was the last time you prayed, pondered, and reflected upon God's call on your life through baptism or through the love God has lavished upon you? Is what you are doing in life still what God has in mind for you? Can you spend this waiting time praying for your family, confronting them with Bible verses, or even with your pastor's daily devotionals? Have you attached our Sunday services to your Facebook page and invited those you have friended to come and taste that the Lord is good? Wouldn't you love to have a prayer partner, someone to be your confidant and encourager, someone with whom to share life on a very personal level, someone whom you know is praying for you every day and for whom you are praying every day? I have witnessed people exchanging puzzles to put together, watching football games together over Zoom, and being very creative in maintaining friendships. What can we do to stay connected and share the joy of the Lord? Because waiting without a purpose sure can get you in a whole lot of trouble. Amen.